Do you remember when you were a little tiny kid? When life was simple, magical, even the smallest things could light up your imagination. You could stare at a clump of dirt for hours. A line of ants could turn into, an epic bug battle, or your dad's underwear a fantastical torture device for your baby brother. Good, wholesome entertainment. We could turn anything right in front of us into something magical. Back then, nothing was complicated. Nothing was distorted or influenced. It was just about what was right in front of you and what you could do with it. We didn't have social media. We didn't do things to get likes. There was no likes, right? We did it to become a neighborhood legend. And it took a good deal of creativity to become a legend. You had to come up with something really good. Now they're out here twerking for McNuggets, Everybody's twerking for the same McNuggets. Not us. We had to do something really creative to be entertained, and become a legend. Literally, I remember watching my brother create a woman for me. He created a full woman for me out of mud. It was impressive. And he was hell-bent on me marrying this woman because he thought I needed more responsibility at age 6, and I wasn't ready for that kind of commitment. So I just said, well, I'm going to turn this woman into a mud muppet. It was creativity. And you were in control of it. The point is, back then, you could make something out of nothing and enjoy it completely. You just had to be creative, This was my life all the way up into the age 6, It was blissful, and it was dreamy. At that age, I lived with my family high in the Cascade Mountains in this lodge. It was gorgeous, and 11 rustic cabins next to an 100-foot waterfall. It was beautiful. My bedroom window faced out over this beautiful lake, and behind the lake was this massive snow-covered mountain. The mountain was unshakable. It was like part of our family, this huge thing that you saw every morning, you saw it every night, something that would always be there. It was my whole universe. It was my safe, secure, simple little bubble. It was dreamy. But here's the thing about living in a dream. Eventually, we're forced to wake up. And sometimes that awakening is brutal. On May 18th, early in the morning, the ground began to shake, and the lake began to bubble and boil up, and everything that I had known up until that point in my life blew up. When Mount St. Helens erupted, it wasn't just the mountain that blew up. It literally blew up my entire world, my sense of security, my sense of peace, my sense of home. It blew up my family's business. It blew up everything we owned, literally. And it even cost my mom and my dad their marriage. They couldn't make it through that. It was too much stress. It was too much of a polar shift for them. 58 lives were lost that day. Neighbors, friends, and the innocence of my childhood went with them. But that eruption planted a seed in me. Even at age 6, I learned a truth that most people don't face until they're adults. That life can crumble without warning and that nothing is guaranteed. But I also learned that if life can change so dramatically, it means that you also have the power to create your own extraordinary changes too, right? When life erupts, we have a choice to give up or to rebuild. I believe that without this pain, you cannot see the pleasure clearly and enjoy the wins, enjoy the victories as much. Bob Dylan once famously said, behind every beautiful thing, there is some kind of pain. But you have a choice what you do with your pain. And I know that everyone in here has pain. We all have pain in common. And I know it's hard to see how that pain can be good for you. Trust me, I feel you. But in these moments when your life's turned upside down, when you're feeling the unsurmountable odds of whatever stands against you, whatever it is, even a mountain erupting, remember this: behind every beautiful thing, there is some kind of pain. Now, here's a good example of that. Everybody with me? You guys still with me? You guys good? Give me a clap. Give me something. Give me a clap. Wake up. Wake up. Okay. There was these scientists, and they created this biodome, and they said, we're going to make every single thing in this biodome perfect. The light is going to be perfect. The condensation will be perfect. The fertile soil will be perfect. And they did. And they planted all of these plants, and these plants grew, and they grew fast, and they grew tall. And then one by one, they started to fall over and die. And the scientists were like, what the? We did everything right. It was perfect. But then they realized they forgot one critical aspect. There was no wind. There was no wind that forced those trees to grow their roots stronger, to dig deeper, to have a reason to lean into the wind and force themselves against the adversity, the friction that was given. And so their roots were weak and they fell over and they died. You see, without that pain, without that challenge, you have nothing that makes your roots stronger. You have nothing that's pushing against you, that makes you fight harder for yourself, for your life, for everything that you want. So embrace that pain, embrace that struggle, and walk straight into the wind. Because those are the exact things that grow your roots stronger so you can stand tall against anything that comes. You guys want to hear a Hollywood story? Now, you didn't expect me to roll up in here and not tell at least one Hollywood story, right? So, on the TV set of this show called Killing Pablo, which was for the History Channel. In fact, my wife is the one who produced it. She's in the house tonight. She's right over there. So naturally, my wife did it. So my job is, honey, I need you to do something. Oh, God. So check this out. My job was to find an old 1980s mustard yellow Mercedes, buy it, drive it to the set, then set it on fire. Now, this all seemed awesome to me. I was all in. I'm like, I love blowing stuff up. As a extraordinary volcano survivor, no problem. Piece of cake. What could possibly go wrong? Has anyone ever seen a car on fire? No. Have you ever seen a car on fire? Okay, what happened? They put it out? I didn't exactly have that experience. Or if they say it kept burning, you go, exactly. Well, that's in fact exactly what happens, Ted. Your name's Ted, right? No, Jeff? Bro, I got a show to do here. It's like I don't even know you anymore. You sit here, you get mad at me in public. Okay, all right. We'll get back to you later, Ted. Relax. Anyhow, I'm sitting there with my art department buddy. Yes, okay, I was in the art department. The art department are the guys that build the sets. They bring out the props, and they work with the special effects guys. We weren't the special effects guys, mind you, but we were the art department. And I'm sitting there with my buddy Rob Z. Rob Z is a classic, awesome art department dude. Okay, he's kind of a mix between a Scot-Irish red-headed wildling mixed with a garden gnome. Man, super cool guy. So I'm sitting there, and Rob and I are talking, well, how are we going to do this, bro? I don't know, bro. And what we figured out was genius. We would go to the local Chinese restaurant and get the takeout containers, the little aluminum foil ones, and we would fill them with lighter fluid. Brilliant. We'd put it around the car, and we'd light that on fire, and it would look like the car was on fire. You'd see the flames, you'd see the smoke, right? We'd put some other stuff in there to kind of smoke it up. Well, now, that was a brilliant idea, but what we quickly learned was that fire does not play nice with very large Hollywood wind fans, which are the things that they put up to get all of the smoke moving around and make it feel like, things are happening. Now, the problem with these wind fans is, of course, they were strategically and tragically positioned to blow the smoke around, which looked very dramatic. However, what was actually quite dramatic was when all of the gas flew out of the Chinese takeout containers and all over the car and really set it on fire. Now back to my early question. Has any of you seen a car on fire? Well, they don't really stop burning, do they? And so this was the moment that both Rob and I looked at each other and instantly recognized that we had forgotten one critical piece of this plan. That's right, a fire extinguisher, or a few. At that point, we needed a few. So here we are, the car is ablaze, wind is blowing, the director is ecstatic, yelling, yes, yes, haha, awesome, this looks great, amazing. But what she didn't know was we were likely moments away from the entire cast and crew, wait for it, exploding, along with about a ton of 1984 mustard yellow Mercedes, 5 wind fans, a smoke machine, and about 20 Chinese takeout dishes. And potentially a garden gnome and a guy named Dylan. So what happened next was exactly what we didn't want. The car exploded. But the way in which it exploded appeared to be by design, and the director to this day hails us, in quotes, as the most incredible special effects artists ever to appear on a low-budget, unpermitted Los Angeles film shoot. And so the moral of this story is that no matter how hot it gets, just wait a little bit longer, because what you thought might be the end to your career might actually be your best work. So embrace eruptions. My name is Dylan Barry. Thank you very much.